Good morning, Baker. This is Miss Locke in the Media Center. This morning we are going to start reading a book called Iqbal together. It's the story of a boy who was sold into child labor at the age of 4. Right now we're going to read a picture book story, The Carpet Boy's Gift, by Peggy Dietz Shea. And this is another story of children in child labor who were inspired by Iqbal to fight for their own freedom.
The Carpet Boy's Gift by Peggy Dietz Shea, illustrated by Leanne Morin. Master says I have only 2 more months until my peshki is paid back. With that thought, Nadim quickened his knotting of the scarlet weft threads on the loom and then beat them tightly into place with his panja. I'm sure Master means it this time, Nadim hoped. He must mean it. Nadim pictured himself free, playing soccer with his little brother Hakim. In the daylight. Since his parents had to sell him 3 years ago for a loan of 1,000 rupees, Nadim had worked in the carpet factory from dawn to sundown, 7 days a week. Nadim, Master commanded, time to load the rug. Wheezing, Nadim hopped between the other carpet children who worked in the small dim factory. Lucky, muttered Amina, the tallest girl. Nadim grinned proudly and squeezed his cousin's shoulder. This was the 3rd straight month that Master had chosen him to load the truck. Nadim stepped out into the blinding sunshine. Ah, he said, filling his lungs with fresh air free of woolen dust. As he helped Master load the rolled carpet onto the truck, Nadim stole glances at the colorful chaos of the marketplace. Bundles of sugar-cane stalks, herds of jostling goats, huddles of jabbering traders. At the end of the road, a beautiful red and gold flag rippled above a building. What flag was that? Nadim could not help his curiosity. Maybe he'd walk by there before he headed home. Master's voice pierced the din. That's it, Nadim. Back inside. It took a while to readjust to the gloom and dust of the factory. Nadim stepped around the other children, hunched over like barley sacks on the charpoy platform. Reaching his own loom, he squatted, picked up the knife he used to cut the rug's threads. A violent cough escaped and made the dangling yarns sway. Nadim put his fist to his lips to muffle the sound. He remembered what had happened to the girl next to him. When she had started coughing blood weeks ago, Master sold her to another factory far away from her family. Nadim couldn't bear living without his father, mother, and Hakim. That night, Nadim and Amina took a different route home, past the building with the red flag. Nadim ran his tired fingers along the raised letters on the sign on the wall, wishing he could read the words. My father said it's a school, Amina said. Hearing the children's laughter and seeing the bright electric lights inside, Nadim said, School sounds fun. Do you ever wish you could go, Amina? Sometimes, Amina said, but it is impossible for us, so I try not to think about it. Nadim gave her a hopeful smile. Maybe when we have paid off our peshki. The next day, as the children gathered to eat their midday meal, Nadim heard loud chanting outside. Master was in the back room, so Nadim quickly peeked out the doorway. Softly he called to Amina and the other children to come see. Amina, look, the same red flags, Nadim pointed out as the children and adults paraded up the street. We are, called a boy leading the parade. Free, answered the children behind him. We are, called the boy marching closer. Free. That's Iqbal Masai, Amina whispered. He used to make carpets too. What does he do now? Nadim asked. I don't know, but I heard he flies all over the world in airplanes. Now Iqbal had reached them. Come out, he said, his voice high, yet ringing clear as a goat bell. You don't have to work. You are free. Frowning, Nadim took a step forward to meet Iqbal. What do you mean free? Master bought us for a fair price. When we earn back our debt, then we are free. No, you don't understand, Iqbal said, pulling out some certificates. These are freedom letters. There's a law here now against child slavery. The law is called the Bonded Labor Abolition Act. Nadim fingered the papers and looked cautiously over his shoulder. Master says we work for our country, for our families. Your master lies. He ignores our laws, Iqbal replied quickly. How could this be? Nadim argued with himself. Master had been good to me. Just this morning he let me load the truck. Isn't he honest? And who is this Iqbal? How does he know so much? Staring into Iqbal's eyes, Nadim raised his voice. How do I know you're not a liar? Iqbal carefully took Nadim's hand and moved his fingers across the scars on his own hands. Both boys could feel each other's scars from their work at the looms, cuts healed over with boiling oil. Then Iqbal said, My family needed money, so they sold me when I was about 4. I escaped for good from the carpet factory when I was 10. Hey, what's going on? They heard Master yell from the back room. Get to work. Wait, Iqbal said, and he pulled out a yellow pen from his pocket. Here's a gift for you. A pen, not a knife, should be your tool. You can go to this school down the street and learn to read and to write. Nadim's mind tumbled. I don't know. You can do it, Iqbal said, and handed Nadim the yellow pen and some of the certificates. Give these freedom letters to the other children. Present them all at once to your master, and talk to your parents. It will help if they come with you. That night, Nadim showed his parents the yellow pen and told them about the new law and the school. But Master says we still owe him money. He might hurt us and take Hakim too, his father said. It's very risky. Could we move to a different town where Master couldn't find us? Nadim asked. His father bowed his head and shook it while his mother held Nadim and his brother close. Later, huddled with Hakim in bed, Nadim couldn't rest his aching bones or stop his racing thoughts. How can I face Master? Shouldn't I wait just 2 more months until I've earned my freedom and I've paid off the peshki? But I wish I never had to touch a panja again or tie another knot. I want to go to school and use the pen that Iqbal gave me today. Then Nadim remembered what had happened the first time he'd nearly paid back his peshki. Master had fined him 50 rupees for falling asleep. That took 6 months to work off. And the last time Master fined him 100 rupees for using the wrong color for only half a row. What would Master do this time to make him work longer? Feeling the breath of his 4-year-old brother on his face, Nadim sighed. If I don't do something now, Hakim, you'll be knotting the threads beside me. In the morning, Nadim awoke in darkness as usual. His mother boiled millet for him and wrapped up some bread for him to eat later in the day. Here's a bite for Amina, too, she said, cupping his chin and adding, Be careful, my son. Nadim hid his pen in his pants seam and hurried to the factory to get there early, before Master's clock said 5 o'clock. As the other carpet children arrived, he gave each one a freedom letter and explained what they had to do. Amina's eyes glistened with excitement. Nadim pressed his fingers to her lips. Soon, Master stepped out of his office to shout the instructions for the rug pattern. Nadim had to clench his fists to calm his shivers. Then he stood and motioned the children to hold out their letters. Master, Nadim said, the law says we are free. You can't keep us against our wishes. Master's eyebrows pressed down as he walked toward Nadim and snatched his letter. He said, reading. So it does say that. Did a boy named Iqbal give this to you? Nadim bit his lip to keep from answering. We know all about Iqbal Masai. These freedom letters are worthless, and so are Iqbal and his friends. The master ripped the paper in his hands into shreds. As Nadim watched the bits of the freedom letters fall like ashes to the floor, his heart beat wildly. He threw himself to the floor to gather the pieces. Master yanked him up. Now you'll get a taste of what Iqbal should get himself. No, cried Amina, covering her face with her hands. Master grabbed Nadim's panja and dragged him to the back room. Weeks later, shackled to his loom day and night, Nadim nodded away mindlessly. Master had fined him 500 rupees. It would take years to work it off, and maybe years before he saw his family again. He didn't even look through the door anymore when Amina helped load the truck. The light stung his eyes. The fresh air prickled his throat. One morning, Amina crept over, choking on her words. Nadim, I just heard Master laughing on the phone because Iqbal went back to his hometown and he was shot dead. Iqbal's dead. Nadim, do you hear what I'm saying? Nadim groaned. His hand touched the seam in his pants where he kept the precious pen that was Iqbal's gift to him. Now was the time to help all the other children. That was what Iqbal had wanted to do. Nadim pulled the pen from its hiding place and clutched it. Nodding and shaking, Amina continued to cry quietly. Master said, "That's what Iqbal gets for freeing carpet children. See what his worldwide fame gets him." "Shh, Amina," said Nadim in a calm voice. "I'm making a plan." Amina watched as Nadim slid his yellow pen between the thick rope shackle and his ankle and gripped his curved knife. Nadim sawed back and forth against the rope, back and forth until the knife sliced through the rope that had bound him. Only then did he explain everything to Amina. Amina turned to tell the other children. She moved among the looms whispering and then gathered the children near the door. "It's time for us all to go," said Nadim, standing. "But I'm afraid to go," a small child spoke up. Amina shook her hand and said, "Do you really want to stay here with Master?" The child shook her head. "Iqbal was right," said Nadim. "We don't have to work anymore. If we go together, the school will protect us. Look, its gates are open." Taking a deep breath, Nadim stepped into the sunlight, in the steps of Iqbal, and all the children followed. Bobcats, I hope that you enjoyed the story. The next activity will begin by watching a short video from studentsrebuild.org. Their goal is to support world literacy through the creation of bookmarks. Today, you will begin creating 2 bookmarks, one that you will donate to a student in another country and one that you'll keep for yourself. Your donated bookmark must be turned into your first hour teacher by Friday so that it can be sent to studentsrebuild.org. After reading The Carpet Boy's Gift and watching the video, it's my hope that you may be inspired to make a difference in your world.